Why do they sing "Abide with Me" at FA Cup finals? They sing "Abide with Me" at every FA Cup final before the teams appear on the pitch. The band strikes up and the crowd all sing along. But why do they do this? And when did it start? Let's look at the story from the beginning. Henry Francis Lyte was born in Kelso in Scotland in 1793. He studied at Trinity College Dublin, where he won the prize for English poetry 3 times. Then he became an Anglican priest in June 1815, the month of Napoleon's defeat at Waterloo, and he ministered in towns in Ireland and West England. In the course of his pastoral duties, in 1820, he visited the deathbed of an older priest, Augustus Le Hunt. The dying man spoke of his great regret of not having taken the letters of St. Paul in their plain and literal sense, and impressed on Lyte the need to do so. Later, Le Hunt, in his last earthly moments, kept repeating the words, "Abide with me, abide with me." His words made a deep impression on Lyte and led to his evangelical conversion. But he did not write "Abide with me" at that time, for, although Lyte published 3 volumes of poetry over the next 15 years, no poem resembling "Abide with me" was among them. In 1823, Lyte became curate of the Church of All Saints in the fishing village of Lower Brixham in Devon. You can see the church steeple in the left hand of this picture, behind the large white building overlooking the bay. He spent the rest of his life there promoting Christian education in schools and on ships, but he suffered increasingly from respiratory illnesses, and by the summer of 1847 he was gravely ill from tuberculosis. He preached his farewell sermon to his congregation on the 4th of September, before travelling to Nice in the hope of checking the progress of the disease in the warm air. He wrote "Abide with Me" in his study that afternoon, and gave it to a relative, together with a melody he had composed. Then he travelled south. But even the salubrious French air could not cure him, and he died there 2 weeks later. At first the words of "Abide with Me" were paired with various hymn tunes, but in 1861 the editorial board of Hymns Ancient and Modern felt that the words needed something better, and asked William Henry Monk to write a new melody. Monk was in great sorrow from the recent loss of his young daughter, and he wrote the tune "Eventide." It has become the inseparable companion of Lyte's words ever since. The new hymn soon proved popular. Charles Ives arranged it in 1890. So did Mahler in his 9th and final symphony in 1909. So did Vaughan Williams in 1936. And Nurse Edith Cavell sang it on the evening before her execution in Schaerbeek, Brussels, on the 10th of October 1915. As for the FA Cup final, Sir Alfred Wall, the Secretary of the Football Association, introduced "Abide with Me" in 1927 to replace Alexander's Ragtime Band, which had been the opening tune for the Cup final until that time. The initiative was fervently supported by King George V and Queen Mary, who both loved the hymn, so nobody was inclined to disagree. 2 years later, the Rugby League followed suit at their Challenge Cup final. "Abide with Me" is still sung at both matches every year, an annual moment of faith for a people who are not always religious. The hymn soon became known worldwide. It was a favourite of Alfred Lord Tennyson and of Mahatma Gandhi. Thelonious Monk recorded it, so did John Coltrane, Doris Day, and Paul McCartney. The Titanic Band played it in 1912 as the ship and its people sank to the icy depths. Another band played it at the Turkish Airlines crash in Schiphol Airport in the Netherlands in 2009. It was sung at the opening of the London 2012 Olympics. It remains among the most widely sung of English hymns, and its popularity shows no sign of decreasing. Light did write other hymns, including Praise My Soul, the King of Heaven, but it is Abide With Me, written 2 weeks before he died, which has proved to be his most enduring legacy. Now think of that when you are tempted to give up. You may produce something to bless the world in your very last days on earth. Did you know, for instance, that Van Gogh created all his great paintings in the last year of his life? So let us not be weary in well-doing, for in due season we shall reap, if we faint not. One more recent tribute to the hymn was its use as the melody that runs through my Cavil Mass, which was commissioned for the Edith Cavil centenary celebrations in Brussels in 2015. Here is my arrangement of the hymn that goes with the Mass.